Hi everyone, welcome back to my channel, or welcome if you are new. Today I have got a reading vlog for you guys and I am super excited. It feels like it has been a long time since I last filmed a reading vlog and I'm starting to get reading vlog withdrawals at this point. I am particularly excited about this reading vlog because in this reading vlog I'm going to be reading ACOTAR. Yes, I know it is an absolute sin that I have not read this book yet. I've actually not read any Sarah Maas at all, but that is going to change today. I'm so excited to see what I think of this book. I have a feeling I'm going to be utter trash for it, but that remains to be seen. All I really know about this one is we follow a young woman called Fair throughout the books, I believe. I'm pretty sure there's a love triangle in this. I'm pretty sure it gets smutty. I'm pretty sure there is fae involved, but I'm not going to lie to you, that's about all I know. Somehow I have managed to completely avoid all the spoilers for this series. Do not ask me how, because I have no clue. But I cannot wait to finally see what I think of this series. Obviously it is a hugely popular fantasy series and I'm really excited to see what I think about Sarah J Maas's writing as well, because Lord knows she's got a few seasons that I need to get round to. I have literally just finished work, so I'm gonna go ahead, get myself comfy, cozy, settled in for the night and try and speed through as much of this as I possibly can. Okay, comfort mode has been activated and you guys already know what time it is. It's time to have my little magic mind shot for the day. You guys know how much I have been loving these recently. As I said in my last video, I have now completely cut out caffeine and I feel worlds better for it. I am drinking this one a little bit later than I usually would. I'd usually drink this at sort of like 3 o'clock, like late afternoon, just to get me through that last bit of the working day. But today we're having it at just after 5 because I want to be as in the zone as possible tonight and read as much of this as I can. Having it the right way around would help. The best thing about these is I never feel that sort of like buzz of energy like I do with caffeine, energy drinks, all that jazz, where you just feel so like jittery with energy. With these, I just know that I feel more awake, I feel more productive, I feel more like focused, but not in the way that I can physically feel the caffeine running through my veins. So this is going to be perfect to set me off, just get me firing on all cylinders, ready to get into my little fae world. Okay, that is that. It's time to start the book. I've just read the first chapter and it's safe to say I am already hooked. Like, this book started right in on the action. Well, maybe not like the main action of the book, but it started with a good scene. We're watching the main character Fair, I believe, from her perspective, and she is hunting in the woods. She's talking about how they are starving and she needs to bring home some sort of meat for her and her family to eat to survive. And when she's trying to get this deer, there's like this massive wolf that is also trying to get this deer, and for a moment she's like, is this a real wolf or is this like a fairy? So the fact that fairies in this can turn into like other animals and like shapeshift is already freaking cool. Also, the way she talks about the fairies as if they're like super dark and terrifying and you avoid them at all costs. I love that. I love when the fae folk are like dark and scary rather than like the cutesy beautiful ones we know. I'm already intrigued by the main character. She seems super strong, very much the not like other girls trope, which I don't like when it's like hammered over your head, and I don't like this idea that being a girl means any particular sort of characteristics, but I do like that we have a strong independent woman at the centre of this story and I hope that will continue. Yeah, I mean, I've only read 8 pages so far, but I definitely enjoyed those first 8 pages. So I'm just going to cozy back up and read another chunk of this and I will get back to you when I have some updates. Alright guys, so I've just hit the 100 page mark and it is safe to say I am absolutely obsessed with this. I am really enjoying this so much more than I thought I would, to be honest. I did not realise this was a Beauty and the Beast retelling. I don't know how that information escaped me in all the time that I've been on BookTube, had bookish friends, other bookish platforms. With all of the chat about ACOTAR and Sarah J Maas, I have no idea how I did not know this was a Beauty and the Beast retelling, but it became quite clear very early on that that's what it was. Like I could tell the storyline was reminiscent of Beauty and the Beast, so I looked it up and of course there it was. It is based on Beauty and the Beast, so if you did not know that, there you go. I am probably the last person in the bookish world to not know that. Basically we are following Feyre, I believe is how you pronounce her name. It did say in the book that it's like Feyre. So we're gonna call her Feyre. And at the beginning of the novel, she lives with her dad and her two sisters in this like hovel of a home. They used to have like a manor and everything, then basically got stripped of everything and they live in complete poverty. She is the only one who can like really take care of them. She does all the hunting, sells things for them, and they all kind of just rely on her. One of her sisters, Nesta, when as soon as I heard her name, I was like, I'm pretty sure we don't like her. I'm pretty sure I've heard that Nesta is one of those characters we don't like. But then I also feel like I've heard that she maybe has like some sort of like redemption arc. Could be completely wrong about that, but for some reason I feel like there's something about her that I am questioning. So obviously at the start, Feyre is out hunting and she kills this wolf, but it turns out the wolf is actually a fairy. So this other fairy creature guy shows up at their cottage, blasts down the door and tells her that according to the treaty between the fae and humans, it is a life for a life. So because she has killed a fairy, she either has to die or she has to go and live out the rest of her days in Prithian, which is like the fairy realm. So of course she chooses that rather than die. So her and this like creature fairy guy go off on this journey to get back to his house, and when they get back he turns back into like his more human form because he's like a shapeshifter, and we find out that his name is Tamlin. Now Tamlin is a name I know. I feel like Tamlin and Rhysand possibly, or like the love triangle people. I feel like those are the names that I always hear whenever I hear about Sarah J Maas, so I'm gonna assume that's right. I could be talking about a character from a completely different series, but I'm pretty sure it's Rhysand, who has not arrived in this story yet. That is why I don't know. At the moment she's getting to know Tamlin, and he's kind of like the beast. Obviously she's Beauty, her name is Feyre, like fair, like Belle. She's beautiful, she's like pretty little girl. She has to go and live out her days in this big manor with him. He's like grumpy, but you could tell he's got like this soft side to him as well. And like their fairy realm is suffering from a magic blight, like a plague that is like ruining magic, and it's also done like mean things to a lot of the fairies. So I'm assuming Tamlin is going to try and make Feyre fall in love with him, and that's going to like break the curse that is on him and like the people who live in his like big mansion and his servants and everything. I'm assuming that's what's going to happen because Beauty and the Beast. I could be completely wrong, but that's the vibe I'm getting at the moment. I'm really loving like the world building side of this. I think it's done really well because it's so easy to keep up with it, like the way you're slowly learning about like the history, because Feyre as well is kind of learning about the history quite slowly as well, because the humans only seem to know so much, and I'm assuming we're going to find out more and more about the Fae and who they really are. At the moment what she believes is the High Fae used to like rule over the humans basically as like gods, treated them like slaves. They apparently had like horrific lives, and then there was this massive war between humans and Fae, and then ever since then there's been like this treaty that had to be signed and a massive wall between the humans and the Fae. So of course she's been taken over this wall, or like through this wall, to go live in this Fae realm for the rest of her life. And that is where we're at so far. It is safe to say I am very much enjoying this. Like I said, I've read 100 pages. I think this book is maybe like the 400 page mark. Oh my god, don't make spoilers. 419 pages. It's 490 pages altogether, so I'm basically a quarter of the way through. I feel like I'm reading this super fast because like I said, it's just so easy to read, and also I'm hooked. Like I just really want to know what happens next. I'm loving obviously the fantasy side to it, the world building side to it. I'm so excited to see where the storyline goes, but I'm also loving the fantasy romance part of it and this thing that is possibly brewing between Feyre and Tamlin. I mean, at the minute she like hates him but also has like a slight attraction to him, which is always the best way to start. Yeah, absolute page turner so far, so I'm gonna go ahead and try and fly through another big chunk of this. freaking love this book. I have now reached the halfway mark. I honestly cannot stop reading this book. Like, I know I'm gonna have to stop soon because I'm gonna have to go to sleep and get like a decent amount of sleep before work tomorrow, but I do not want to put this down. It is like a drug. This book is crack. Aside from the fact that this is so good, it is insanely short chapters as well. Like, most of the chapters are like 5 to 8 pages, and then every now and again she'll sneak in a little 13-page one that feels long because all the rest of them are so short. I always read a book so much faster when the chapters are short, and again it'll be another reason that I just don't want to put it down because I'm like, oh, just another chapter, and then before you know it I'm halfway through. I absolutely love how there's all these different kinds of fae. Like, they're all, I think she says at some point that there's just as many species of fae as there is like different types of animal, which is so interesting. We've got all the 7 different courts with different high lords leading those courts, and we don't really know much about any of the other courts yet apart from the spring court because that's the one she's in with Tamlin. I'm assuming those will come a lot more into play, if not in this book, across the series. But I love how a lot of the different types of fae are really dark, really creepy, really playing off of that dark folklore. It is fair to say I am falling for Tamlin. Some of the things he says and does have had me absolutely squealing. Like, he's got this like hard exterior, he's troubled, he's haunted, and yet you can see that you've got like this gooey, mushy guy underneath. There's still a lot more to him, I'm sure, that we do not know about yet, because right now I love him and I know that this is like a love triangle series, and right now I'm like, okay, how can anyone else ever come into play and anyone turn from Tamlin? Like, I just don't understand, but I am sure I will be proven wrong. I do think we met the other love interest in one of the last chapters, like quite near towards the middle of the book. I'm pretty sure this is the other love interest, and I'm pretty sure I know who they are and what court they're from. We did not get his name, but just the way that they interacted with each other, the way he was described, the attraction she had for him, I'm pretty sure he is the other love interest. It has started getting a little bit steamy, like nothing too explicit yet, but there have been some scenes that have been getting me a little bit hot and bothered. And I have heard that these books are just like amazing smut, so I cannot wait to get to those parts. You guys know I love a bit of good smut. I think one of the best things about this book so far is that she, like Farah, who we are following, is so in the dark about so much of what is going on, what secrets these characters have, what they're hiding from her. We also are in the dark, we also don't know what's going on, so like the more she learns, the more we learn, and little bits that they tell her obviously just make her want to know more, that they also make us want to know more, and I just think it's really smart the way that Sarah J Maas has done that. It's definitely one of the best things about having a first person perspective or a first person narrator, because it means you're literally looking through their eyes and only know what they know, and it's definitely working really well in this book. It's definitely a lot darker than I thought it was going to be. There have been some very brutal moments that have been fairly graphic. Like, I did not really see that coming. I didn't think that I would have that part of this. I did think this would be more like a light fantasy, which it is, but it's also quite dark at points as well. Yeah, safe to say I am freaking loving it. Definitely giving me all the 5-star feels at the moment. Obviously I still have half a book to go, but that first half was just... It is getting rather late right now, so I think I'm gonna go take my makeup off and get myself cozy in bed and maybe, hopefully, try and read a little bit more in bed. Okay, I'm not entirely sure this angle is a vibe, but we're gonna go with it. Quick update. It is the next day and I did manage to read another sort of like 50-ish pages last night before I eventually called it and got some sleep. So I'm now on page 255 of ACOTAR. I've got like 150, 170 pages left, somewhere in that region, and I'm obsessed. Let me just tell you that. Absolutely obsessed with this book. I don't know why it's taken me so long to finally start this series. I am absolutely obsessed with Tamlin and the way that his and Farah's romance has blossomed. It is just everything. I have been squealing at some of the ridiculously cute moments, some of the things he says and does. At the moment I have literally no clue how my allegiance could ever change. Like, I just don't get it. I love him so much. Like, if you've read this book, which you probably will have, the scene in the fields with the will-o'-the-wisps, like, I was not okay. Not okay. We have now properly met Rhysand. I was right this time, and I'm pretty sure it's Rhysand because they shortened it to Rhys, and if you were to shorten Rhysand to Rice, that doesn't sound like a vibe, so I'm gonna assume it's Rhysand and Rhys. He made his proper entrance. I was right about who he is and where we'd seen him before. He's freaking evil. Like, he is horrible. In that first bit that we saw him, he was actually quite like seductive. I thought he was quite hot. I was like, oh, who is this dark, mysterious character? When you probably meet him, he is horrible. And like I'm saying, like, I know he's the other love interest. I don't think that's really a spoiler. I think most people who have heard of ACOTAR know that Rhysand is one of the love interests. He's like the biggest name that I know from this series, having never read them. But I just don't understand how we ever turn to love him. But then I was thinking, is it giving Stefan and Damon? Because in series 1 of Vampire Diaries, I loved Stefan with my whole heart. Damon came into it and I was like, ooh, he's not even hot, he's horrible, just absolutely not. However, that all very quickly changed and Damon was just life itself. So is that what's going on here? Is this giving Stefan and Damon? I don't know, but I'm excited to find out. We also had our first properly smutty scene and it was very nice. It was quite short, but it was given all the feels. I'm excited to see if there's more of that throughout the books, which I'm pretty sure there is. At the minute, it's almost like the third act breakup kind of vibes. Like, obviously in a fantasy romance realm, it's very different to like your usual romance, but it's kind of that sort of thing that's going on right now. Like I said, I've got maybe like 160, 170 pages left and I am hoping to finish them tonight. I'm just obsessed with this world, obsessed with this storyline, obsessed with these characters. Cannot wait to continue. Okay, I am not gonna lie to you guys, it has been a minute since I last picked up this book. Life got a little bit crazy for a second there, and I don't think I've read much more than I did since we last spoke. I can't entirely remember where I was in this book, but I'm sure it'll become clear once I start reading again. I am at the start of chapter 36, which is page 316, which means I basically have 100 pages left of this book to go. And I am determined to finish it tonight. Should I say that? Because am I gonna finish it tonight? It's already 6:30. I have to go pick up my boyfriend from golf. We're possibly getting a takeaway. Okay, maybe determined was the wrong word. I am hopeful that I will finish this tonight. If not tonight, then definitely tomorrow. What I do remember from the point I was at this book was that it got brutal. Like, I'm pretty sure I see this book shelved in the YA section all the time, and this cannot be YA. Like, that brutality that I read about was not YA. There is some significant torture in this, which I wasn't ready for. Kind of took me by surprise, kind of icked me out a bit. You guys know I love a bit of gore, a little bit of darkness, so I mean, I enjoyed it. I wasn't quite prepared for it when it showed up. But as I said, I have 100 pages left. I'm not going to chat to you guys too much more right now because honestly, I have no thoughts, but I am going to get myself comfy. I am going to read as much of this as is physically possible, and I will keep you updated on my progress. guys, so it is now the next day. I did, of course, very easily actually manage to finish ACOTAR last night. However, when I did finish it, I was far too tired to give any sort of coherent thoughts. So I decided I'll just go to bed and I will give you my full thoughts now this morning, now that I actually have a brain fit to use. And 5 freaking stars. Like, is anyone surprised? I don't think so. I'm not shocked. I was pretty damn sure I was going to be absolute trash for Sarah J Maas, and it is fair to say I most certainly am. I absolutely love her writing style. Like, I was really worried the fact that I'd put this down for so long that when I went back to it, I wouldn't be able to get back into the story. Like, I've found that so many times where I've had some sort of slump or I've been too busy to read a book quickly, and if I take a break from it when I do go back to it, I feel like I usually end up rating it lower. Those are the sort of books that I tend to reread because I often feel that it was like circumstance that affected my review more than the actual book. Whereas this one, I just got sucked straight back into this world immediately. Like, within the first chapter, I remembered exactly where I was sucked right back into it. I could not put it down for those last 100 pages. Yeah, Sarah J Maas's writing is definitely for me. I actually think the last 100 pages of this were possibly my favourite pages of the entire book. Like, there was a trial trope in this, and I absolutely love trials in fantasy. These ones were particularly brutal. It definitely continued in that respect, which I love. Rhysand continues to be evil, and some of the things he's done, I'm just like, how on earth do you become a love interest? However, there have been little glimmers of what could be underneath and who he really is, and maybe this is like a show that he puts on, or like it's maybe like a defense mechanism or a form of survival, I guess, in this world. So I'm starting to see where this could go. Like, it definitely gives me major Stefan and Damon vibes. I've already said that, and I feel like with Stefan and Damon, originally I was hugely like pro Stefan, but then it got to the point where Stefan started to like annoy me because he was like too nice and too cutesy, and Damon was like the dangerous, exciting one, and I feel like that is exactly what's going to happen when it comes to Tamlin and Rhysand. The ending to this was just so damn exciting. Like, those last 50 pages, I'd say especially, I could not stop reading. I must have read them so quickly as well. The way that Sarah J Maas writes it, she keeps the pace up like so fast, like all these short sentences, and like she writes really fast-paced, tense, exciting scenes really well, because it's almost like the way when you're watching a movie and things keep like switching really fast and you're like, oh my god, what's going to happen? It felt the same in this book, and there are a lot of writers that can't do that, I think, where they try to get the tempo going and it's just not quite as climactic as it was in this. So very much enjoyed that. Basically, I love this and I need to know what happens next. Like, so many people say that the second book is their favourite book in the series, and everyone is really excited for me to read it, so I think I'm gonna have to pick it up like this weekend or something, because I really need to know what happens next. I need to know what happens with this romance. I need to know what happens with this world. I'm 100% a Sarah J Maas convert. At the minute, I am undecided on whether I should do vlogs per book. Like, would you guys prefer I did like an ACMA vlog and then whatever the next book is vlog? Would you prefer a vlog per book in the series, or would you prefer I just did one vlog of the rest of the series now? I feel like for the rest of the vlogs they will probably be spoilery, because it's hard to talk about them if people don't know the first book and don't know the world, so I probably will do like spoilery vlogs for the rest of the series. But yeah, please do let me know your thoughts down below on that, on how you prefer the format of these vlogs to go. I really do hope that you enjoyed this vlog though. I know that I had a lot of fun with it, even though it spanned a much longer time than I expected it to. But please do remember to check the link in the description box for Magic Mine, the little matcha shots that I showed you at the beginning of the video, and use the code INDIAR20 to get 56% off your first subscription. It is actually afternoon now, so I'm probably going to go ahead and have another one right now. But if you did enjoy this video, please do give it a big thumbs up, subscribe for more bookish content from me, comment down below with any of your thoughts and feelings. I do reply to every single comment. I love you all, and I will see you in my next one.